Hey, thank you all for watching this video. By way of introduction, my name is Andy Albertini. I'm on staff with FUM. I currently have the pleasure of serving as Director of Development for Ramallah Friends School. Joining me today is Adrian Moody. He's head of school. Adrian, would you like to take a minute and introduce yourself?
Welcome everyone. I'm head of school, Adrian Moody, head of school, Ramallah Friends School in Palestine.
Great. So Adrian and I have had the pleasure of working together for a couple of years now. Adrian, I know you've got a really deep love for the history of the school, not just the school as it exists today, but the history of it. Can you give me a little bit about the history of Ramallah Friends School?
The history of the school is amazing. Ramallah Friends School was started 150 years ago, and it was actually started as a place to provide education for girls where there simply was no education for girls. And then later on, it opened up as a school for boys. Two campuses, one for girls, one for boys, and then later they would join together to provide a co-educational experience for students. You know, for over a century, RFS has provided an education based on Quaker values in Palestine. And this school has experienced Turkish, British, Jordanian, and now Israeli occupation, world wars, enclosures. And this school, I think like Palestine itself, has held steadfast. And it's kept true to its mission of providing a quality education in Palestine. I think it's amazing. We believe that we are here to serve children of Palestine who come from all walks of life. But we're unlike any other school, I think. You know, we're based on Quaker values, you know, peace, equality, integrity, community, simplicity, stewardship. And it's these values that permeate the school. We believe that all people are equal before God, regardless of where they come from or their gender or their culture. And these are the values that drive the school. And it's you know, I think that it's a unique experience for children and for parents in Palestine.
What does that look like when you say that the school is driving Quaker values or modeling based on Quaker values on a day-to-day basis? What does that look like inside the school in your context?
What does it look like? It means that the way that we do things is different. You know, in terms of like, you know, staff and administration, the way we make decisions is based on, for the most part, consensus. Working with people, getting feedback, you know, making decisions, not making decisions that are top heavy, you know, that are coming down onto people. We believe strongly in consensus. We see that, you know, for the students, how does it look? You know, students looking after one another, realizing that equality is such an important value for us. The way that we deal with discipline, you know, it's not punitive. It's more bringing people together to work out differences, recognizing that there are different points of view and coming to a consensus about the way that we deal with things. When we have our silent meeting every week, taking time for the students to sit and to spend time in silence to reflect about themselves and where they are and what they're doing. You know, we try at every level to sort of live up to these Quaker values, which we think really determine the nature of the school. I mean, yeah, peace is such a important issue here in the West Bank. we're living in a place that's full of conflict. You know, how do we deal with that?
Well,
How do students?
yeah, I think so. That's really interesting, because that kind of relates to a question I had in my mind, is how is the school? You know, this school, how important is it to the community? How does the community view the school? Talk to me a little bit about that, because I think you're touching on it, and I'd really like to see you go a little deeper with that.
You know, in some ways, this school is a little bit like a bubble, and I don't mean that in a negative way. Students come here and they spend time at school, and it's a safe place for them to be. There's so much going on out in the community. We have occupation, we have checkpoints, we have school closures, we have incursions, and these things are regular. And what we provide here is a safe place for students to come to be children, which is so important. And we try to work with the students to deal with these things that are imposing them, these things that are causing difficulty in their lives. We work with the students to, I mean, we believe that there's always a pathway to peace. So, you know, when you are surrounded by violence, you can react in two ways. I think that you can react in an equally violent way, or you can say, okay, there is a situation, but in truth, we are interested in peace. Both sides of the wall are interested in peace, and I think this is what the school's about, giving our students the opportunity of not only being in a safe space, but also giving them the opportunity to understand that there are different ways of looking at things. And that's the one thing about our students, which is so powerful, is that they leave the school, they're incredibly articulate, they're incredibly responsible, and they're incredibly thoughtful. You know, the parents tell me all the time about the fact that the school builds leadership, and I think that that's what we do. We build leadership, and you do that by creating a safe space and creating an opportunity to take an alternative narrative to what can easily be seen elsewhere.
Yeah. Is it fair to say that we're in the process of, as a school, of creating direct impact on the next generation of leadership for this region?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, if you look at local leadership, the mayor of Albertini, which is where the other school is located, and the mayor of Ramallah, where the lowest campus is located, they are RFS graduates. The school has for a very long time produced leadership for Palestine, and that's what we are doing. We are creating leadership. And one day when there's people sitting at a table working out a peace accord in this region, I have no doubt that our students will be there.
So I guess the next question people are going to ask is, so does that make Ramallah Friends School an elitist school? Are we just for the elites of the area?
No, we have students from all walks of life. We have, you know, one of our guards, Muhammad, who's been with the school, I think 25 years. He came from a refugee camp. An amazing man in every sense of the word. He sent his daughter to the school because the school provides education not only for the teaching staff and parents, but also for the guards and the gardeners, which I've never seen a school that does that. and his daughter graduated last year, through our IB system, is now at university. It's the first member of his family who's ever been to university. That's what the school provides. And there are countless cases of that. We are very much in tune with the reason why that we're here. We're about equality, about providing opportunities for students. We have such an extensive financial aid program to allow families who could not normally afford our fees. And we charge, relatively speaking, high fees in Palestine. But we provide opportunities for families that can't do that. Because we don't think that having an economic difficulty should be a barrier to coming here.
Adrian, that's I've had the chance to meet Muhammad and his daughter, and that's such an incredible story of it's life change, right? It's not just providing education. We're changing the arc of an entire family for generations to come, and that's really exciting stuff that you get to be a part of every day.
Yeah, it is amazing. Sowing a seed that can make a huge difference in the future, and you don't know where it's going to go, but that is an example of changing a whole history of a family.
So I know sometimes it's hard for donors to see that connection between a dollar that's donated and a life that's changed. Those are the kind of stories that we're talking about when we make that suggestion, right?
Yeah. Let me give you an example of how donations make a difference to a family. We last year, about this time, had a parent come in. She had 3 children in the school. One was about to graduate. She had 2 other children in the school. They've been in the school for a long time. She was a single parent. She was suffering cancer, and you could see that, she had just had an operation. You could see the scars. She was unemployed. They didn't have any money, and they had 3 children and didn't know what they were going to do. And we were able to provide, tuition and allow their children to continue at the school through the courtesy of the donations that we received. I mean, it's heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking, some of the stories that you hear here. But the money that is given to us allows us to help people in great need. And I think that is just amazing.
That's incredible. Actually, you hadn't told me that story yet.
And are still in the school to this day, and they will finish.
That's amazing. And again, that creates that generational change for that family. That's amazing. Having spent as much time as I have in Ramallah, one of the things that strikes me every time I'm there is how little green space there is anywhere.
Yeah.
And I know, the campus itself, the 2 campuses are really green spaces. But those tend to be kind of, we can't just let the community walk through the school. Security, it's important to keep the kids safe, that kind of thing. But we have, across the street from the upper campus, we have a garden space.
A beautiful space, the K-Cub Garden, which is open to the public. And it's full of Palestinian native trees and plants. And it's there for the public to enjoy. Ramallah is such a stony place. And we are blessed on the campuses to have this green space. But you know, for us to be able to provide that for the community is great. We've put in bees in the K Cub actually, as of a few months ago, and it's part of our environmental stewardship. Bees are fantastic. They provide a lot, but they pollinate and they promote growth in the environment, and that's what we're about. We really spend a lot of time thinking about our environmental stewardship, collecting water, taking care of waste, all those things, and we get to share that with the community, which I think is terrific.
The school itself it's won awards for the green energy projects we've put through.
Yeah. Every year we win awards. We are the leaders in environmental stewardship care in Ramallah. Absolutely. And our students are involved. It's you know, we have organic gardens and we have students involved with environmental clubs, and it's all student led. It's terrific.
And there's a practical side to it too. We have you know, we're very active in environmental stewardship, but we're doing that in a way that actually increases the fiscal stewardship of the school. Part of what I'm thinking of are the cells on the photovoltaic cells on the roof.
The photovoltaic cells, which we've installed on 6 of our buildings in the upper campus and 2 of our buildings in the lower campus. And yeah, it makes a huge difference. We, apart from the fact that, yeah, I mean, you know, we've reduced our energy consumption by 60 to 70%. And it's environmentally friendly, but it also helps the school. I mean, in difficult circumstances, we have to be very careful about where we spend money, how we spend money, and we always are looking for ways to not only be environmentally friendly, but also to save money or to generate money for the school. And the cells are an incredible saving for the school.
Yeah, I agree. It's really amazing. What's our average? Do you know what our average electric bill is now?
I can tell you that one month we had a bill. I think it was about 100 shekels, which is about $30.
Yeah, that's
not bad for.
That's for both campuses.
That's
everything.
That was yeah. You know, it's incredible. But in real numbers, we used to spend about $100,000 a year on our electricity. Last year, I think it was 35.
Yeah, I mean, so that's
a huge saving. That's a huge saving for the school, and you know, if we can gear, you know, our efforts towards more of these sorts of projects, then that's just going to you know, help the sustainability of the school in the future.
Yeah, and that's not just savings for the sake of savings. Those savings then get rolled back into teachers and equipment and scholarships and building upgrades and all that stuff that extends the ministry of viability.
You know, the school's been around for 150 years. Our goal, our responsibility as stewards is to ensure that it's going to be around in another 150 years. Provide the best education that we can, ensure the financial stability of the school in the future, and to give our community the opportunity to be part of this community. Parents part of this community by being able to provide scholarships. You know, we have an extensive scholarship program. We have an extensive financial aid program that allows us to practice what we say is our mission, which is about equality.
Yeah.
this is not an elitist school. We don't want it to become one. We are not going to allow it to become one. It's open. It is open to Palestine.
Anybody. Yeah. I love that. So FUM has what they call the Global Impact Fund. It allows us to put the donor's gift where they're going to do the maximum impact, where it's going to have the most good. Tell us a little bit about how that particular fund, the FUM Global Impact Fund, is important to Ramallah Friends. It's different. It's different than what you and I do, right? You and I raise funds for the school. This goes to the Global Impact Fund.
I am most interested in this fund supporting parents who are struggling, and I'd be looking for that fund to support people, to support those children who have been at the school a year or 2 or 5 or 10, to be able to remain at the school because their hearts belong here and their education is here, and the school really doesn't want to turn people away at all.
I understand. Last time I was there, one of the board members told me, she said, and I remember very specifically, we were sitting in the lower campus outside the office. We were just meeting to talk for the first time. She said, Andy, this school is like a piece of art that needs to be curated and treasured for the future. And I love the way she put that.
It's beautiful words.
Yeah. Yeah.
It is a treasure. And it has changed the life of countless generations of Palestinians over the years, and will continue to do so.
So one last question. How can we pray for you?
You know, in my travels through the US, where I've met with many Quaker meetings, and people say, what can we do for you? And of course, there's always, whatever you can donate will make a difference. And I remember meeting one person who was in a Quaker meeting, and they had been donating, I think it was $25 a month for the last 20 years, which I thought was absolutely amazing. And that money will have gone to good causes in the school, but the fact that we are in the hearts and minds of people is so important. We are in a difficult context, and sometimes it's easy to feel like we're alone. And I know that's not true, because when I've met people in the US, I realized that there's such a great outreach of people who care about the school. The prayers of people make all the difference to the school. They really do. And for people to hold the school in their hearts and minds allows us to continue on a day-to-day basis with what we do.